action to cover the loss from Libya. So I think that this is perhaps a bit of an exaggeration. In the short term, it's definitely a big risk. The impact on Libya, I think, is far greater. I think about 98% of government revenue comes from oil and gas, well over 80% of exports, again, from hydrocarbons. So my feeling is that neither side within Libya itself will be particularly interested in disrupting the supply of oil and gas.
Now let's get some other news now. Two Iranian Navy vessels have begun crossing the Suez Canal. The ships entered the strategic waterway on Tuesday after getting approval from Egypt's defense ministry. Now, according to Iran's Fars news agency, the frigate and an accompanying supply ship are en route to Syria. Israel's objected to the planned voyage, calling it a provocation. Let's find out more from Shireen Tadros, who's live for us in the Egyptian capital, Cairo. Shireen, why are these ships going through? What's going on?
Well, all the Suez authorities will confirm to us is that indeed they are passing through. They are calling them training ships, and they have been telling us that they don't contain, neither one of the ships contain any chemical or nuclear material. Bear in mind that the Suez authorities are not able to reject any offer or any request by a country that wants to sail its ships through the Suez Canal because they're bound under international treaties. So this was really a logistical, a procedural thing, a request that happened. So now we do know that these ships are going through the Suez Canal. I can't confirm exactly where they're going. We know from the Iranian side, of course, that they are headed towards Syria. And as you said, they're being seen by Israeli officials, both the foreign minister and the Israeli prime minister, calling it a provocation on behalf of the Iranians.
Yeah, the Israelis certainly don't like it. And it is the first time Iranian naval ships have passed through that waterway for, what, 30 years?
Yeah, that's right. Since 1979, since the revolution in Iran, we haven't seen Iranian ships, naval ships, pass through the Suez Canal, and that is why it is being seen as a big deal by the Israeli side. The authorities here are trying to remain calm. They're not really trying to tell the media that this is any big deal, and in fact trying to steer them away from reporting this as something that is a response to the revolution, or perhaps because there are new authorities in charge. The Suez authorities have remained as they were, and they're keen to say, well, we were never able to stop this request coming through unless we're at a state of war with another country. Indeed, we cannot deny the requests of countries that want to send their vessels through this very important canal.
OK, Shireen, thanks very much indeed for that. Shireen Tadros in Cairo there. Now, pirates have shot dead 4 American hostages on a yacht that they seized near Somalia. That was according to the US military on Tuesday. The military said American forces discovered the dead hostages after responding to gunfire, and they boarded the pirated vessel, the Quest. That was according to the US military's Central Command. OK, so back to Libya and events there. Let's find out what social media sites are saying with Imran Khan over at our web desk.
Thanks, Shirley. Well, lots of talk right now about that eastern border of Libya being opened up. Now, it's been very difficult getting information out of the country, but protesters are using expat Libyans to blog on their behalf, and others are using the intermittent web access to the best of their ability. Let's take a look at some of the recent posts on the micro-blogging site Twitter. Ali Tweel, who we think is tweeting from inside the country, has posted, "People in my area are afraid to go in a demonstration because we are 30 seconds away from a heavy-armed military base. We are unarmed." Revolutionaries clashing with mercenaries and troops trying to clean up and hide evidence of battles. And change in Libya. Gaddafi says he'll let media in. Reports that Tripoli is being cleaned now in order to disguise what happened last night. Now, some other tweets suggest that mercenaries are blocking entrances to Tripoli to stop protesters coming in from other cities. Let's take a look at this video. The Libyan youth movement says that the protesters in Garian, that's in the west of Libya, have caught foreign mercenaries. Some people appear to be sifting through their items. Now, of course, we can't independently verify that, but the footage is very dramatic. This cartoon picture was just posted on TwitPic. It shows Libya's leader Muammar Gaddafi with a pile of skulls hidden under his cloak. You can keep up to date with all of the latest, including reports from AlJazeera reporters right now on the border with Libya. It's all on our website. Take a look for yourselves. That's aljazeera.net/English. Also, our live blog. It's a play-by-play of everything coming out of Libya, including some great opinion, analysis and reporting. Back to you.
Imran, thanks very much indeed for that. Let's get some other news around the world now. More scuffles have broken out between rival groups in Yemen. Anti-regime protesters in the capital Sana'a were seen confiscating a rifle before rolling over a car and setting it on fire. In eastern Yemen, about 5,000 anti-government protesters rallied in the town of Al-Shiha, demanding the resignation of President Ali Abdullah Saleh. A leading Bahraini opposition figure is on his way home. Hassan Mushaima of the Haq movement is due back in Manama late on Tuesday. His return will test the promise of the ruling monarch to allow the opposition to operate freely. Pro-democracy activists staged another sit-in at the Pearl roundabout on Tuesday. The area has become a focal point for demonstrations. It was the scene of violence last week, in which 8 people were killed. On Monday night, a rally was held in the capital in support of the government. Now, the Rafah passage is the only lifeline many Palestinians have to the outside world, but it's been closed since the revolution in Egypt. Nicole Johnston is in Gaza to see how they're clearing the backlog.
Waiting for hours and hoping to cross into Egypt. This requires great patience. The Rafah border crossing has been closed since Egypt's revolution began over 3 weeks ago. But 3 days ago, Palestinians stranded in Egypt were allowed back into Gaza. And on Tuesday, the border reopened both ways.
I'm so happy for Rafah doors. I will be returned to my studying in Cairo after 5 weeks in Gaza Strip. I'm so happy.
I think it's going to be a good government and help Palestinians by opening the borders, by offering a lot of facilities for Palestinians.
Rafah border is the only exit for Gazans that's not controlled by Israel. It's a vitally important lifeline. 14-year-old Abdullah Oldeh has been waiting to leave Gaza for an operation in Cairo for 1 month.
Today we heard the crossing was opened. We were supposed to leave 1 month ago. We are still waiting. Until now, my son has no coordination to leave.
Only 300 Palestinians will make it across the border today. And that's because Egypt has a strict criteria on who it will allow in. So Palestinians are hoping that eventually this border crossing, their gate to the world, will be free for everyone to use. Nicole Johnston, Al Jazeera, Rafah.
All right, back to our top story of Libya. Let's remind you of the latest developments today. In the last half hour, the UN Security Council emergency session has just begun. Reports are coming in that the country's leader, Muammar Gaddafi, is to make a speech shortly. And that comes as Libya's defence ministry blamed criminals for anti-government protests in a televised statement. Libya's ambassador to the United States has resigned, saying he no longer wanted to serve a dictatorship regime. But Muammar Gaddafi's former aide has said the country's leader